the government is cutting welfare. And the bill for health-related benefits in particular has been ballooning in recent years and is set to grow even more over the coming years. So they've decided it's time to go for welfare. Despite that growth in spending, these are still some of the biggest cuts to welfare in a decade. So come with me this week as we look at the history of the British welfare state. Before the welfare state, in Britain, if you were poor, you were effectively on your own. The government didn't provide benefits, pensions, healthcare, anything really. Instead, there was something called the Poor Law. That was a law created in 1834 amidst the economic downturn at the end of the Napoleonic Wars. It formalised the system of workhouses made famous by Charles Dickens in novels like Oliver Twist, which you probably are familiar with. They were grim places. In 1942, as war raged, a British economist called William Beveridge laid out a radical plan. A system that would provide free healthcare, unemployment support and pensions for everybody. As the war ended, Britain found itself in a reforming mood. It voted in the Labour government of Clement Attlee with a huge landslide. Attlee and his cabinet embraced Beveridge's recommendations and set about making them a reality. In 1948, they launched the NHS. Unemployment benefits and council housing soon followed. The welfare state, as we know it now, was born. In 1979, Margaret Thatcher was elected, and during her decade in power, she set about shrinking the welfare state. She sold off council houses, made the rules that governed how you got benefits stricter. 2010 saw the election of a Tory-led coalition government, and they pursued a series of deep cuts to the size of the British state. This, of course, was austerity. But history, as ever, had other ideas. In 2020, the COVID pandemic hit. The institutions of the welfare state were needed as perhaps never before. Hundreds of thousands of people sit on NHS waiting lists. The poorest in Britain are now poorer than the poorest in some Eastern European countries.